The best RuPaul's Drag Race moments can take the air right out of your lungs. Others break the wind in your sister's general direction. Budding superstar Mhi'ya Iman Le'Paige tells EW's Quick Drag podcast, Below, that she did both during her epic run on Season 16, which came to an end Friday night after she turned drag into a contact sport by tossing her dress atop her lip-sync partner, Morphi Love Dion, as they faced off on the main stage. Across her 4 bottom 2 performances that earned her the title of Season 16's lip-sync assassin, Mhi'ya broke other cardinal rules set forth by Mama RuPaul, including taking her shoes off in a duel against Megami. But before she was sent home for failing to impress the judges with a comedic corporate-style presentation, Mhi'ya's biggest and most hilarious infraction came at the expense of Morphi's nostrils, as the Miami-based queen reveals in her elimination interview that she engaged in some light crop dusting in the workroom. For more details on that, plus Mhi'ya's admission that she would have quit the competition if she'd landed in the bottom 2 with her challenge partner, Dawn, listen to Mhi'ya's full exit interview in the podcast episode above. And read on for a breakdown of the Q&A before we get to this week's challenge. I want to talk a little about your lip sync 2 weeks ago. You got some backlash after eliminating Plasma, but you took it in stride and had some funny clapbacks online. How are you handling that? Mhi'ya Iman Le'Paige. I already prepared myself for getting backlash. People were trolling me, so I trolled them back and had fun with it. We've seen trolls come for queens in the past. What message do you have for people who do that? They should stop doing it to all the queens. You never know what anyone is going through. I did an interview with Roscoe's and told my story about what was going on, and people started to see. Some wrote me and said, I feel bad. It's not your fault. Keep your head up. Sorry you went through that. This explains why I was shy or timid during the first couple of episodes. It's a show. Someone has to go home. Someone has to win. Be kind to each other. It's what we need in this world. For our listeners who didn't catch the Roscoe's interview, can you please reiterate? The week I left for Drag Race, I left the club and went to my mother's house. I got in the car to get my overnight bag and put on my slides because I had a little walk to get to her building. Something told me to look up as I was getting ready to get out of the car, and I see this guy walking up. He's running toward my car, reaching into his pants. I drove off. That whole day I cried, and everyone who knows me knows that I'm not a crier. Being at Drag Race, I dealt with that too, because it still bothered me. Was this man going to rob me or kill me? Then, the situation with the designer. He had 5 of my runway looks, and those were the main looks I wanted to present on the show. The day of leaving, 2 of the designers gave me some of my runway looks at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I had to be up at 6 a.m. to go to the airport. I called the designer that had another look. He didn't answer. I laid down and said I'm not going to go to Drag Race anymore. You almost quit? Yes. I was laying down, like, I'm not going to go. I don't have any looks. What am I going to do about these runways? I ended up throwing things in my bag. Something clicked and said, God put you in this position for a reason. Get up and just throw things in your bag. I used old things in my closet for the runways. That bothered me the whole time. I literally couldn't get over not having those looks. You had beautiful looks this season, including the rose petal reveal under your wig during the Plasma lip sync. Did you intended that to be a tribute to Sasha Velour? I tried to find something that would make me stand out even more. I saw that she wasn't doing any gimmicks or tricks, and I saw the flowers on the counter and snuck them in my hands, and, on the way to the stage, threw them on my head. I didn't have time to put a wig under, so I just went with the flow. There was also debate about what you wore under your wig. Some said it was a beanie. What was it? That was actually a snatch that I used to hold my wigs down. That was supposed to come off as well, because I had my hair braided. But it didn't come off. It still gave us a moment. Speaking of moments, this episode marked your 4th lip sync, and it was so entertaining when you threw the train of your dress over Morphi as she did a backbend. What was Morphi's reaction the first time you were able to talk about it? She said, Girl, you gagged me. I wanted to kick your ass. I had to set it off. I already knew it was going to be a good lip sync and battle. She set it up for me, sitting down on the floor, so I'm twirling around and happened to throw it on her. I did it to throw her off her game. I like that strategy. It was a good moment. Morphi seemed a little upset. She threw her breast at you. You threw your gloves back at her. Did you anticipate it getting that heated? I didn't think it would get like that. We had our little build-up, but once the lip sync happened, it was like, claws out, let's fight. But you don't regret doing that? No. You also flipped in this lip sync. The queen seemed to downplay your flipping because you did it a lot, but it's still a skill. Did you feel discredited for your talent? No. I tried to avoid flipping so much because I didn't want people to think or say that's all I can give. I've done more than backflips. For flowers, I didn't flip, not one time. I also want to clarify something about your Cher look. The title card said it was Cher at the burlesque premiere, but it looked more like her. If I could turn back time, music video look. Can you clarify? That's one of the runways the designer had that I never received. I'm like, okay, Cher is known for her catsuits and jackets, so I just threw it in there. What were the other designs that you had to improvise? Flowers, true colors, the mother ball, drag excellence, and DragCon 1980s. Another point of fan admiration for you this season was your braces. If you're comfortable, what can you share about that journey? I was surprised by that. I didn't know I was the first drag race girl to be on with braces in their mouth. I didn't need to get braces, but I got them because I wanted to walk face category in the ballroom scene. In that category, your teeth have to be perfectly straight. I haven't walked a ball since, so it's kind of like I got them for nothing. But I'm happy that I got them. When are they coming off? I'm really close. We're waiting for one gap to close. We had to pull 4 of my teeth because of the braces. I think I have 1 or 2 more months. It's something else to add to the Mhi'ya legacy, which your other sisters also tried to add another story to this episode in the mini-challenge, when RuPaul asked who the gassiest queen of the season was. Morphi held up your face on the paddle. Why did she say that? Laughs sometimes. I would, oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm saying it. Sometimes I would, like, walk or run by her and fart and run off, kind of like when I pulled her hair and kept walking. That's what I would do, but a fart moment. Thank you for revealing that. I'm getting a lot of pleasure imaging you doing a run by farting. The last thing I want to ask you about, in this challenge, I noticed you kept looking to the left, off stage. Can you explain your headspace and why you looked away so much? I shouldn't have gone in with the mindset of going to fail. I've always had a fear of speaking in front of people. That's why I'd sometimes lose pageants, because I'd get in my head for question and answer. I tried not to look at the cards as much. Looking off stage, I was looking at the judges' faces to see what they were thinking. It was just a disaster. I even told Dawn, like, if we get in the bottom because of me, I wouldn't lip sync against her. You would have quit? I told her that if we had to lip sync, I knew I would have beaten her, so I'd sashay away because I felt like she deserved it more and I would have been the reason we got in the bottom. I felt like we had too much to read instead of having fun with it. We went into an actual presentation. That's a sisterly thing to do, and it speaks to your character. I wouldn't change anything about being on Drag Race. The only thing I would change is the designers. I had fun from the first day I walked into the workroom. Sometimes it might not have shown on my face, but I was having fun the whole time, getting to know these girls that became sisters.